Hey guys, tonight we begin with the story of a city buried in ash, and a woman whose secrets were preserved for centuries. The Prostitute of Pompeii, a tale of seduction, scandal, and survival, frozen in time beneath volcanic fire. A story that whispers to us about desire, corruption, and the fragile legacy of pleasure. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I do here. Now breathe slowly, sink into your pillow, and let us drift together. Back to ancient Rome. Let your eyes close as you imagine cobblestones beneath your feet, warm from the day's sun. The sea breeze carries salt and the laughter of sailors returning from the bay. You walk deeper into the winding alleys where painted walls glow in fading torchlight. Frescoes of gods and lovers. Dionysus pouring wine, Venus rising from the sea, and tucked into the corners, far more scandalous scenes. Here in Pompeii, sex was not hidden. It was painted, carved, even celebrated. Phallic charms hung above shop doors for luck. Stone carvings pointed the way to brothels. For the people of Pompeii, desire was not shameful, it was a currency, a weapon, a delight. And within the dimly lit brothels, women like her, women forgotten by name but immortalized by ash, worked their trade. She lies on a straw mattress, the faint glow of an oil lamp tracing her silhouette, her hair oiled and perfumed, her lips darkened with crushed berries, her tunic rough and simple, yet draped in a way that teased the eye. She was no queen, no mistress to emperors. She was a prostitute of Pompeii, and yet within her world. She wielded power in her own secret way. Coins clink on a counter outside her door. The madam, stern and watchful, counts every copper, every silver. Men shuffle into the chamber merchants heavy with wine. Soldiers still smelling of sweat and leather. Senators in disguise with cloaks pulled tight. Some come for quick relief. Others come for escape, seeking in her touch what their wives could not offer. And sometimes, the most scandalous of all, wives themselves would slip into the brothel's shadows, whispering that they wanted to learn the arts of pleasure, arts their husbands found elsewhere. She listened, she touched, she played the role demanded of her, and in return she gathered secrets. Secrets worth more than coin. A senator's confession, a soldier's shame, merchant's drunken boast about shipments of grain smuggled through the port. Every whisper became a thread in her hidden web. She was despised by the matrons who passed her on the street, yet those same matrons feared her tongue. For in Pompeii, a rumor could burn hotter than fire, and perhaps she did not only deal in flesh. Some whispered she dealt in poisons too. Tiny vials hidden beneath her bed, powders slipped into goblets, herbs blended with wine. Wives jealous of mistresses came to her. Rivals of merchants sought her assistance, and always her price was paid in silence. Listen closely, and you could almost hear the hush of sandals across stone, the murmur of men in the courtyard, the faint rattle of dice cast in taverns nearby. The city hums with life. Behind closed shutters, scandal blossoms like night-blooming flowers. Pompeii was no ordinary town. It was Rome's secret playground. And she was one of its most dangerous players. Her chamber was small, the walls painted with frescoes so explicit they shocked later archaeologists into silence. On the plaster, lovers twisted together, positions varied. A guide for the illiterate, Even in her bed, scandal was written on the walls. A man could simply point to a picture, and she would provide the reality. Yet behind her calm eyes, she saw more than lust. She saw corruption, perverted king of pleasures, not crowned in gold, but in wine and flesh. Men who preached piety in daylight and came crawling to her at night. Men who condemned prostitutes from the Senate floor, yet counted coins at her bedside. And she laughed softly in the dark, knowing the hypocrisy of power. Feel the weight of the room now. It's the warmth of the oil lamp, the hush of night pressing against the shutters. Imagine her leaning close, whispering in your ear, her breath sweet with figs and honeyed wine. She tells you of the scandals she has seen. A wealthy nobleman who paid her to dress as Venus while he played the servant. A merchant's son who begged for punishment, the whip traded for her caress. A matron who trembled as she touched another woman for the first time, sighing into the straw as if freed from chains. Every scandal hidden, every night remembered only by her, but that still ahead. Tonight, the mountain sleeps. Tonight, the torches burn, and Pompeii dreams in decadence. Tonight, she moves through the streets with her head high, tunic marked so all know her profession, yet her gaze steady. For though she is a prostitute, she is also a queen in her own kingdom of shadows. And as you drift, feel yourself walking beside her, past taverns where dice clatter, past fountains trickling cool water, past homes where laughter echoes, deeper into the heart of Pompeii, where pleasure is painted in every corner. The scandal is everywhere, in the chambers of senators and the whispers of slaves, in the perfumed rooms of mistresses, and in the dim-lit bed where she waits. Breathe deeply. Imagine the sea breeze mixing with smoke from torches. Hear the distant strum of a lyre. See the soft glow of frescoes on plaster walls. All of it wrapping you in warmth, in mystery, in scandalous comfort. And as you drift further, remember, she is both despised and desired, feared and forgotten. A woman whose name is lost, but whose legacy lingers in whispers of sex, scandal, and survival. A woman who lived on the edge of history moments before the fire, and soon the fire will come. But for now, let the city of Pompeii lull you deeper.
Ow.
The prostitute waits.
Ow.
Her story is only beginning. Close your eyes now, and let us step further into her world. The narrow street hums with voices, sandals striking stone, the soft crackle of oil lamps guiding your way. You follow her through the alley that bends like a serpent deeper into Pompeii's shadows. Your desire and scandal walk hand in hand. She pauses by a fountain, dipping her fingers into cool water, letting droplets slide down her wrist. Men glance. Women whisper. She wears the yellowed tunic of her trade, a mark of shame in Roman law, yet she moves with quiet pride. For every look cast her way, every coin slipped into her palm gives her power. Power denied to most women in this world. Listen to the hushed voices of soldiers. They come back from campaigns in Germania, their bodies scarred, their hearts hollow. They seek in her arms a comfort their gods never gave them. She welcomes them, their armor clinking faintly as it's set aside, their heads bowing to the softness of her bed. She whispers to them like a priestess, though her religion is lust. Then the merchants come, men heavy with rings and pride. They smell of saffron and incense, their tongues sweet with honeyed wine. They tell her their secrets in drunken tones, smuggling roots, bribes paid to senators, ships that never left the harbor. She listens, nods, strokes their egos as easily as their bodies. And when they stumble away, she keeps their whispers in her mind. Secrets more precious than coins. And once, a senator came. Cloaked, who'd drawn low, his voice hushed. By day he condemned women like her, declaring them parasites on Rome's glory. But at night he crawled to her bed, begging to be stripped of his dignity. She let him tremble, let him confess sins darker than lust. And when he left, she smiled. For she knew that in her hands, Rome's mask slipped away. The scandal was not only in her chamber. Pompeii itself was scandal incarnate. Painted frescoes showed lovers entwined. Phallic charms swung above bakeries. Even tavern signs hinted at pleasures inside. Archaeologists centuries later blushed at the brazenness. But to Pompeii, it was life, and she thrived within it. Whispers grew that she had more than beauty. She knew herbs, powders, tinctures, vials hidden beneath her bed, tiny and deadly. A jealous wife might slip into her room, veiled and trembling, begging for a poison to silence a rival. A merchant's enemy might offer gold for a draft that would make a man weak. Always, she listened. Always, her price was high. Whether truth or rumor, the whispers alone gave her power. Now imagine the air of her chamber, thick with the scent of oil lamps, perfumed with lavender, smoke curling slowly upward. The walls alive with painted lovers, their bodies caught forever in scandalous poses. A man enters, coins clinking in his pouch. He points to a fresco, too drunk to form words. She smiles, guiding him down. Her touch is slow, practiced, her voice a lullaby of sin. Out and outside, the city thrums on. But beneath it all, there is a silence. A mountain looms above, dark against the stars. Vesuvius, patient and waiting. Each night of lust, each scandal whispered in her bed, counts down toward ash. None of them know. Not the merchants, not the senators, not the soldiers or the wives, and not her. Breathe slowly now. Hear the sound of distant laughter, dice rattling on wood, lyres strumming gentle notes. What? Picture the glow of Pompeii's streets at dusk, torchlight painting the walls gold, and see her walking through it all, a shadow in yellow cloth, both despised and desired. She belongs to no one, yet everyone seeks her. She is rumor, she is scandal, she is Pompeii's secret heartbeat. And as you drift deeper into her world, let your mind rest. Let the scandal soothe you. For in the end, all of this will be buried in silence, preserved in ash, remembered in whispers. Her story continues. And the night grows darker. The night deepens. The torches flicker lower. The melchy scandal breeze louder than prayers. She walks again through the alleys, the yellow tunic brushing her ankles, bare feet soundless against the cobblestones. Every doorway holds a secret, every window a shadow. The city is alive, yet always hiding. She passes a villa where laughter spills into the street. A banquet is underway. Reclining couches, silver goblets brimming with Falernian wine, roasted meats dripping with spice. Men toast to Jupiter, their lips wet with desire. And among them, it's not wives but mistresses. Young, perfumed, their hair coiled in elaborate braids. They sit at the feet of senators, offering grapes with jeweled fingers. Wives stay hidden in their rooms while mistresses reign at the table. She knows these mistresses well. Some once shared her bed in the Lupanar, climbing higher with each lover until they belonged to nobles. They smile at her in passing, yet their eyes warn her, stay in the shadows. For in Pompeii, power among women was measured not in coins, but in whose bed you occupied. A concubine to a wealthy patron was safer than a prostitute in the alley, but the line between them was thin, fragile, and easily broken. Listen. A lyre plucks gently in the distance, soft notes floating on the sea breeze. Servants scurry across the marble floors, carrying platters, filling cups, and behind the laughter whispers slither. Senator accused of bedding his own niece. A merchant caught bribing officials. A priest rumored to bless sacrifices with one hand, while the other lingered on young boys. Pompeii thrives on scandal. It feeds on it like wine. She, the prostitute, carries their secrets in silence. A senator's shame, a mistress's confession, a matron's jealousy. In her chamber, words spilled as easily as coins. She listened, she remembered, and when needed, she used them. Her bed was not only a place of lust, but a throne of quiet power. Close your eyes now and see her chamber again. The frescoes glowing in firelight, bodies painted in eternal embrace. Straw rustles beneath her. A soldier kneels at her feet, his armor discarded, his voice breaking as he begs her to strike him, to humiliate him. She does, gently, her hand like silk, her voice low, soothing and cruel at once. He sighs, shudders, releases his shame into her hands. For in Pompeii, lust was more than pleasure. It was release, confession, transformation. And once a matron entered, veiled and trembling. Her husband had taken a mistress, a girl barely of age, and the city whispered of it. He begged the prostitute not for sex, but for knowledge. How to lure him back, how to hold his gaze again. The prostitute laughed softly, not unkindly, and taught her secrets of touch, of voice, of gaze. The matron left, cheeks flushed, veil trembling, carrying tools her husband never suspected she learned in the Lupanar. Outside, the mountain watched, silent, patient. Beneath the ground, fire stirred. But in the city, no one noticed. Why would they? Life was too sweet, too scandalous, too full of wine and whispers. Now breathe slowly. Imagine the flicker of lamps, casting shadows on painted walls. The murmur of clients outside, coins ringing softly. The hush of the sea, far beyond the gates. You were drifting deeper, carried by scandal, lulled by sin. For she was not just a prostitute, she was Pompeii itself, openly shameless, secretly powerful, always walking the edge of ruin. And one day, that ruin would come. But tonight, she reigns in shadows. And as you sink deeper into rest, hear her voice low and soft. All secrets burn, but some are buried forever. The streets of Pompeii grow quieter now, the drunken songs fading, the dice falling silent. Torches burn low, and in the stillness, whispers become louder than shouts. This is the hour she thrives. She moves through the dim-lit Lupanar, her fingers brushing rough plaster walls. Each fresco watches her painted lovers entwined, bodies frozen mid-embrace. To strangers centuries later, these images would be shocking. But to her, they are simple reflections of her life. Her chamber glows faintly with oil light. The straw mattress creaks under her as she waits. A soldier enters, still smelling of iron and sweat, his eyes haunted. He places coins on the table, his hands shaking. He does not want passion, he wants comfort. And she knows how to give it. She lays him down, strokes his hair, whispers not words of lust, but words of safety. For in her touch, even the hardest men soften. Later, a merchant arrives. His robe is embroidered, his fingers jeweled, his breath sour with wine. He speaks too loudly, boasting of shipments of grain, of bribes to magistrates, of rivals ruined. He points to a fresco, demands she act it out, his voice greedy. She complies, but her eyes remain sharp, remembering every careless confession. For tonight's pleasure may be tomorrow's leverage. And sometimes, her clients are women, senator's daughter, curious and trembling. A mistress seeking not coins but experience. A matron, veiled and desperate, begging to feel alive again. She welcomes them with the same slow hands, the same gentle breath, the same whispered scandal. For desire knows no gender, and Pompeii does not care whom you love, so long as the doors are closed, the torch is dim. Now listen closely. Outside, in the grand villas, greater scandals unfold. A nobleman, rich and powerful, rumored to bed both his daughter's handmaids and his son's tutors. A priest who blesses altars by day, yet by night joins feasts of flesh and wine. A magistrate who condemns prostitution in public, but slips coins to her madam under the cover of darkness. Hypocrisy runs thicker than wine in Pompeii, and she is witness to it all. She is more than flesh. She is the memory of their sins, the confidant of their darkest whispers, the silent mirror of their corruption. Breathe now, slowly, in and out. Imagine her chamber. The oil lamp flickering, the walls warm with painted scandal, the faint rustle of linen, the sea breeze slipping through cracks in the shutters. You are there, lying beside her, listening as she tells you tales no historian ever recorded. She speaks of a senator who begged to be treated as a slave, crawling at her feet, weeping with shame as she commanded him. She whispers of a merchant's wife who returned again and again, sighing with pleasure each time she broke free of her gilded prison. She tells of rivals who tried to poison one another, powders slipped into wine, potions stirred into honey. And always she was there, unseen, listening, surviving. But above all this, above the laughter, above the whispers, above the pleasures and poisons, the mountain watches. Vesuvius looms, silent, patient. Beneath its surface, fire coils waiting. The people do not see it. How could they? They are blinded by desire, drowned in scandal. They believe their pleasure's eternal. But the mountain counts their moments one by one. And she, the prostitute of Pompeii, feels it in her bones, in the stillness of night, when even scandal grows quiet. She dreams of ash, of fire, of silence, swallowing laughter, a warning she cannot name, a shadow she cannot escape. Rest now, breathe with her. God. The scandal of Pompeii is your lullaby, the whisper of corruption your comfort. You are safe in her chamber for now, but the fire waits. Soon it will come. The night is heavy now, velvet silence spread across Pompeii. Torches gutter low, the last banquets fade into drunken laughter, and the air carries the hush of a city that believes itself eternal. Yet beneath that quiet, the earth trembles faintly, a heartbeat no one notices. In her chamber, she lies awake. The straw shifts beneath her, the oil lamp sighs, its smoke curling like a serpent. A client has just left a wealthy man with trembling hands who confessed sins against his own bloodline. He wept, begged her for forgiveness she could not give, and she, as always, remained silent, her face a mask of calm. for she knows the more powerful the man, the darker his shadows. Outside, the alleys are still, yet whispers echo in memory. A mistress who poisoned her rival's figs, a senator whose desires left bruises that no physician dared to treat, a priest who drank more wine than he poured on altars. Scandal clings to Pompeii like the scent of smoke on a robe, and she, the prostitute, walks among it like a shadow queen. But tonight, something feels different. The air is thick, harder to breathe. The sea breeze carries an unfamiliar taste, metallic, sharp, unsettling. Dogs bark at shadows, slaves glance nervously at the mountain. And she, lying on her mattress, feels the faintest tremor beneath the floor. She closes her eyes, tells herself it is nothing, yet the fear lingers. She remembers an old client once, a Greek scholar passing through Pompeii. Between their embraces, he whispered of fire sleeping beneath the mountain, of gods angry with men's arrogance. She laughed at him then, tracing fingers across his chest. But now his words echo in her mind like a curse. Still, life continues. A soldier enters, drunk on wine, demanding release. She guides him gently, her hands steady, even as the floor quivers faintly beneath them. He notices nothing, few do. The city is too drunk on its own pleasures to feel the danger stirring. When he leaves, she steps outside. The sky is strange. The moon hides behind a veil of haze, and stars blink faintly as though smothered. From the mountain, a faint glow pulses, subtle, almost beautiful. She watches in silence, her heart heavy. Somewhere deep inside, she knows this glow is not a blessing. Yet scandal still thrives. Even on this night, mistresses slip through alleys to meet their lovers. Senators creep in cloaks to the brothel. Wives weep in silence while their husbands drink with prostitutes. The city dances on the edge of ruin, blind, laughing, moaning in pleasure while fire builds. Imagine her now, standing in the alley, the warm stones beneath her bare feet, her breath slow, steady. Round her, the city dreams its scandalous dreams, unaware of what waits. She closes her eyes, inhales deeply, and for the first time, she feels pity not for herself, not for her trade, but for them all. For their secrets will never outlive the ash. Breathe with her now, slowly, deeply. The oil lamps flicker, the mountain glows, and scandal whispers into silence. This is the last night Pompeii will know. Last night she will lie on her mattress, waiting for coins, waiting for confessions. The last night her world of whispers and shadows will breathe, and when the morning comes, the fire will rise. She wakes not to birdsong, not to sunlight spilling across her chamber, but to a sound deep, thunderous, rolling from the belly of the mountain. The straw shifts beneath her, dust sifts down from the beams, and the oil lamp tips spilling its last breath of smoke. Outside, voices rise, at first confused, then frightened. Kay, a child crying, a woman shouting her husband's name. She wraps her shawl tightly, steps into the alley. The air tastes different now, thick choking, filled with a sulphurous sting. The sky above is no longer blue, but bruised, a spreading shadow reaching from the mountain's heart. The prostitute moves slowly, her breath shallow as the first stones begin to fall. Small at first, light enough to patter across rooftops like rain, but then heavier. One strikes the ground beside her, cracking stone. Another shatters a clay jug outside the tavern. She hears the screams now, louder, echoing through Pompeii's narrow streets. The wealthy rush to the gates, clutching jewels and slaves, while the poor stumble blindly, seeking shelter in shrines and cellars in the arms of strangers. Senators drag their mistresses by the wrist. Priests abandon their temples. Soldiers drop their spears and run. All their scandals, their power, their secrets, laid bare in the chaos of survival. And she walks among them calmly, almost dreamlike. For she has lived her life in shadows, among whispers, among men who wore masks of virtue, but carried corruption in their hearts. She is not shocked to see them revealed now, stripped of dignity by fear. She has always known what lay beneath. The sky darkens further. Ash falls thick as snow, coating her hair, her shawl, the cobblestones. The air grows heavy, suffocating. People cover their mouths with cloth, with hands, with whatever they can grasp. The once vibrant city, its baths, its markets, its brothels now buried under a gray veil. A man stumbles toward her, face streaked with ash. She recognizes him, the senator who once begged her for silence, who swore her payment would buy her freedom if she never revealed his secret affairs. He grasps her arm, pleading, but she only looks at him with calm, tired eyes. For in this storm of fire, coins mean nothing, titles mean nothing, secrets will never matter again. The ground trembles harder, a violent shudder. Walls crack, statues fall. From the mountain, a roar like 1,000 beasts. Flames burst against the sky. Molten rivers begin their descent. The city cries out, a chorus of terror and despair. And still she breathes, slow, steady. For in the end, there is no scandal greater than death itself. No whisper darker than the silence that will soon swallow them all. She steps into the forum, ash swirling like a storm around her. She sees the temples crumble, the villas split open, the fountains choke with dust. She sees lovers clinging to each other, rivals dying side by side, masters and slaves collapsing as one. The city that lived for pleasure now consumed by its own excess, its laughter replaced by screams. And as the fire descends, she closes her eyes. She remembers the warmth of candlelight, the softness of whispers, the scandalous confessions murmured in her ear. She remembers every man, every woman, every secret entrusted to her bed. And she knows they will all be preserved, not in rumor, not in memory, but in ash, eternal, silent, unchanged. Breathe deeply now. Feel the weight of the silence as the city disappears. Feel the calm as the mountain claims its due. Let go as she does, slipping into stillness, into history, into the eternal night of Pompeii. And so, my friend, the ash settles. The city of Pompeii, once so full of laughter, scandal, and hidden pleasures, lies buried beneath a heavy silence. The streets where footsteps echoed are gone. Taverns where secrets spilled over wine are sealed. The brothels where men of power revealed their weakness, their hunger, their perversions, forever in stone. The prostitute, nameless in life but immortal in death, rests now among them. She did not wear a crown, she held no title, yet her story lingers, more haunting than those of senators or generals. For in her chamber, the true face of the city was revealed. And in the ash, that truth remains. Imagine it now as if you stand there. The quiet alleys no longer filled with whispers, but with statues of ash. Lovers caught in mid-embrace, priests clutching idols, merchants curled around their treasures, equal at last, their scandals preserved not by rumor, but by time itself. And the lesson, soft as a lullaby, drifts to you. that power fades, that pleasure is fleeting, and that even the darkest secrets can be sealed forever in silence. Scandal may define a life, but time swallows all, and in the hush of history, only whispers remain. So, as you lie there now, breathing slowly, let your mind drift like the ashes settling over Pompeii. Let the scandals fade, let the fires quiet. Rest in the knowledge that even the most corrupt stories become dust. Their heat cooled, their noise hushed, and tonight you sleep, with the memory of a city's secrets buried beneath the mountain's shadow, the thought of Hertha, prostitute of Pompeii, forever preserved in stillness. Good night, and may the whispers of history guard your dreams.